Well, the Chicago Bulls just signed Kenny Lofton Jr. to a one-year contract. We're going to talk about it all and more, but first, you know what we got to do? We got to play that intro.
Tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
I see red, I see red, I see red, I see red, yeah, I see red, I see red, I see red, I see.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. We got Big Kev, myself, Haize, we in the building, and Kev, the Chicago Bulls, man. Listen, we know that the youth movement started for the Chicago Bulls this offseason, and they brought in Jalen Smith to replace Andre Drummond, who's a solid big. And while we heard that Jalen Smith could have been promised an opportunity to earn the starting center role, there's still a little a lack of big man depth there for the Chicago Bulls. Well, today they signed a Kenny Lofton to a one-year non-guaranteed contract. This is not a two-way deal. This means he's coming in to training camp trying to compete for a roster spot, which means that it's probably going to have to come down to either him or Batum, as those are the only two players that have non-guaranteed contracts. How you feeling, Big Kev?
Hey, I love it. I love it. I've always been a fan of Kenny Lofton. I don't know why he hasn't found enough traction in the league, because even when he plays in the G League and the big leagues, as it were, he produces. He produces. Now, most of the times that he's played on the NBA level has been during garbage time, right? On teams that have been eliminated from the playoffs and so on and so forth. But, hey, he can only make the best of the opportunities that he's had. And I'm not mad at the signing. Obviously, he has to earn the spot. But this dude, he can put the ball in the basket, man. Like, I've everything I've seen from him from college forward has been impressive to me.
So Kenny Lofton Jr., and I get what you're saying. Kenny Lofton Jr. I still think he's 22 years old, so still a very extremely young player, which I'm not mad at the Bulls taking a look at an extremely young player. He could very well end up on that second two-way contract, because keep in mind, the Bulls have an open two-way contract spot as well. With him and Batum both having non-guaranteed contracts, it could just come down to one of them gets the NBA contract, the other one gets a two-way contract. That way we keep both of them in the building. We feel confident about either one of them. But this is a nice calculated risk by the Chicago Bulls. Kenny Lofton Jr., like you said, hasn't done anything impressive at the NBA level, but he does have a lot of potential. And I think that is something that when you're going younger, you want to take a look at. Now, I know some Bulls fans are already going to say, you're bringing in a 6'6" power forward. We need some legit size. But to your credit, let's look at when he does play the most. In G League, and I'm not saying this is going to transfer one for one in the NBA level, but he averages 25 points per game in G League competition, 1 steal, 1.5 blocks, and 9.5 rebounds per game. In no way am I saying Kenny Lofton Jr. has this chance to be like this great NBA big, but he does have the chance to be a productive big. And I like that the Bulls are taking a little bit of a calculated risk here.
Yeah, I mean, like, the biggest defense, right? I think that's probably the pick and roll defense is important in the NBA. If he can't move his feet, if they blowing by him, that's probably why he hasn't gained any traction in the big leagues yet. But I don't know, man. We know that he's an offensive dude. That's really what he brings to the table. He's one of those who was it? Was it Zebo? Was it Zach Randolph that was just one of those dudes that was kind of undersized and still would just put the ball in the basket regardless? I think that's kind of what the Bulls want to see. Can he compete and play defense? Because that's what he's going to have to do if he's going to make this squad. I just don't know if he can do it, though. I don't know, because he's been on 2 teams already. You know, like, what is he going to do?
And I ultimately think this is probably going to end up being a G League signing. Make no mistake about it. I think that the Bulls are bringing him in. And keep in mind, this is another thing to look out for, and this is where my cap knowledge comes in at, because I'm an NBA nerd, is that by signing him to this type of deal, even if he makes it through training camp, and even if he ends up on a two-way contract, he gets an extra $200,000. So this could very well be, we know we're going to have you on a G League deal. You have DJ Stewart, you got Adama Sanogo, you got those guys on G League contracts. We can get you on a two-way deal. You're going to spend a lot of your time down in the G League, but considering we're going younger, you may have a more clear path to get to the NBA as long as you produce and you develop in our system. I get what you're saying about defense, but one thing the Bulls have shown, I think, in their moves this offseason, defense be damned. I don't think they're really worried too much about defense as well. So
and his first stint with the Memphis Grizzlies, like toward the end of that season, he had a couple of 20-point games and so on and so forth. So, like, we know that he can score the basketball. And if they thinking defense be damned, then that's what it is, because, you know, this is a youth movement. And it's not like they're expecting the Bulls to be world beaters anymore. They're not trying to sell us this dream that they're in win now mode. So I think this is a great signing, especially for the G League. And it made me think about Adama Sanogo when this first popped up. Like, okay, so what does this mean for him? Because Adama Sanogo needs to make this roster, man. Like he's really good. He's gotten a little bit better defensively because I think that was his issue as well. The last 2 seasons for him. Let's see what Adama Sanogo can pull up. If he can take care of business too, man. Because now they putting people on this roster kind of breathing down his neck. What up, Big Steve-O?
Well,
What's the word?
I mean, yeah, and the thing is I think you're taking the most, like the thing that the Bulls need the most is big. So if you're signing a lot of players to G League, you plan on developing through your G League to develop a big, I'm not mad at that. Like that's been always our sore spot. We've always talked about the last 3 years, basically the last 4 years since Billy Donovan's come here. We have no ability to withstand an injury to one of our bigs. We just don't. We haven't for years. And so, this could be a guy who, like you said, has had some success at the NBA level. But again, if you don't need him, you're developing him. He's 22 years old. Even if he spends the full season or 2 seasons down in the G League, you're still talking about a 24-year-old player at that point who can come in there. And at that point, you kind of know the ins and outs of that player. Steve, how you feeling about this signing, brother?
I like the signing just because we got the best version of Kenny Lofton that's been in the league so far. He's trimmed his weight. He's scoring it. He's jumping higher than he's ever been. He's quicker as he's ever been. And one thing that shows me is he's a hard worker. He heard the things that he needed to improve on. He realized his strengths and weaknesses, and he attacked them every offseason that he got. Now, we do know that he hasn't played a long stint anywhere. I think his longest
real quick,
was
Steve, only because I missed her. Shout out to Auntie. I miss you, Auntie. I hope you do.
Auntie. What up,
Auntie? Gang.
My mama. But yeah, like I think my only concern is that he hasn't played a long stint anywhere. I think Utah, his longest stint was 45 games during the regular season. So it's more than that. But if you've been watching him since Louisiana Tech, everybody knows what he has to come to bring to the table when it comes to the offensive side. I call him Young Zebo because that's who he reminds me of. So yeah, like I love his work. I like the way he plays. He plays hard. He can rebound the ball. He can play some defense. I think defense is something he still needs to work on. But the fact that he still has the want to do a lot of things, and he's come a long way from the long ball as well. Yeah. I think we like I said, the best thing about this move is we got the best version of him since he's been in the league.
And Steve, I like that he can shoot the three. He's a capable 3-point shooter. Now it's been up and down. I think his highest was 35%. His lowest was like 31%. But he can provide the Bulls with a little bit of spacing out of that position too. So that I'm not mad at the signing. But again, we know it's kind of going to be maybe a G League situation. But he could earn a roster spot on this squad.
Yeah, he could. I mean, we'll see. Flaccavelli says, I didn't think we had it. Yeah, the only 2 players we have signed to 2-way contracts are Adama Sanogo and DJ Stewart. Henry Drell's gone. Andrew Funk's gone. It's just those 2 guys.
What's funny?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so what's funny? Henry went to the Jazz, like I think yesterday.
Yeah.
So it was like, so he was like, you take it, Drill. We take your better, which is stupid because I feel like they should have kept Kenny. So, hey, thank y'all. Appreciate it. Y'all go take your Henry because I'm telling you, Henry ain't gonna do shit over there. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, we'll see. Henry Drell is a player that still has some potential, but I think when you're with a team for 3 years in the G League and you haven't sniffed, like I think the last nail in the coffin for Henry Drell was how bad he looked in Summer League. You're going through 3 years in Summer League. You should be able to separate yourself from that level of competition if you're ready for the NBA, and he wasn't. So therefore, hey, the Bulls moved on, and they're bringing in some more people to take a look at.
Yeah,
so.
you got Henry Drell, who for 3 years we known him as to be for a shooter, and then you come out in your last chance, you're a terrible shooter. Kenny, on the other hand, his main concern was conditioning and weight and defense. And each and every year, you see him constantly get better at it. That's another thing to look at. It. We're trying to see if somebody can progressively get better on their own. And we already got the player development in place now. So, yeah, I like it. I like the development team that we got here. We seen what they're doing with Terry and the rest of the young dudes here. So let's see how it goes. I think he might have a chance to make the squad because I mean, Sanogo does everything else that he's bad at, but if he outshines him on the offensive side, he could give a Sanogo a run for his money when it
I
comes
don't
to
know if he's
certain
going to
numbers.
outshine Sunogo on the offensive side. I don't think it's
That's what I say.
necessarily
If
yeah, but I don't think it's a thing that it's one of them versus each other. The Bulls need big man depth, and don't overlook the fact that the Bulls are at some point going to be looking to move Nikola Vucevic at some time during the season, and
That
because
too.
of that, like it could be that maybe they see, hey, Sunogo, yeah, you're on a two-way now. If we do get this Nikola Vucevic trade off, and we don't bring another big in, you're moving up. Lofton's then our starting center at G League, and we'll see what the next offseason brings about. So I think this is kind of a natural succession plan. But I tell you what, you guys already know I cover Windy City Bulls games here. If G League teams that face the Bulls, y'all about to get beat the fuck up.
Yep.
oh, for real,
It's about to be a problem. And
Bro.
here's the thing, though. Even in the G League, because I think he got a G League MVP, if I'm not mistaken, in his first year back in
Kenny, yeah.
2022.
Oh,
But
shit.
this young man, in the 4 games that he played, and it was, mind you, Utah wasn't playing for anything, but the 4 games he played for them, he shot 60% from the field, 33% from 3, and he averaged 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. So he's showing you that he can pass as a big man, rebound as a big man, shoot as a big man, and rebounding is a part of defenses as well. I'm not mad at this signing, bro.
Yeah, it just
So
comes.
are
Go
you
ahead.
confident? Like, so not say confident. So do you think the way is going that in the future they see us playing a small lineup as possibly as Adama being the small 5?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, because well,
Yeah.
then they got what's his name? What's the young man they just got from Indiana?
Jaden Smith.
Jaden Smith, yeah.
Jaden Smith. So like, he's going to be that the big of the future. At least that's what they're kind of gearing toward. But the Bulls are going to play fast. That's their goal, is to try to play fast. And I just think that all of these young guys that they're looking at, bigs as well, it's small ball, but it's also fast, and they can stretch the floor. I'm not
Exactly.
mad at it. I mean,
And you
not
got
Sanogo, bro. But
no,
go
I
ahead.
mean Snow can stretch the floor too. That shot's just slow as fuck. But if you catch him on a pick and roll,
Oh,
a pick
yeah.
and pop, he can shoot the ball. But the thing about Lofton is the thing that I want to point out here is efficiency at every level he's played at. Even in his only played 45 games at the NBA level, 49% shooting from the field, 60% shooting from the field last year with the Utah Jazz. If you go to the G League time, he's played 19 games in the G League. Over that time, 31, I'm sorry, not 31, that's not good. 56% overall from the field that he shot. And then in college, he shot damn near 60% from the field. Efficiency. He knows and understands his role at. And I don't think anybody's projecting him as like this future starting big of the future, but for a big man depth who can eventually be your third big off the bench. And while, yeah, he's played center most of his career, don't overlook his ability to play power forward either, especially if he can get out there and run. So, again, I'm not saying this is going to make or break the Chicago Bulls by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a nice signing for a team that's gone younger, and you're getting somebody in with tons of potential still left to be untapped.
I don't think that's the key thing. Like, a lot of people are thinking, like, is this a succession of somebody? No, he's just going to be a good player on anybody's team. That's the type of player he is, especially if you built around it right. We're built for it right. We got players that can space the floor, and to add him to the spacing is going to be even more difficult, especially that 60% field goal is around the rim. And around the rim, I'm just being honest with you, he got the footwork that a lot of people just can't mess with it. Like he's that skilled. Like I see somebody say, is he like Zion? No, he's more skilled than Zion because he don't have that athleticism.
I like what you said to begin with, is that the at this point, this is the best version of him that has existed in the NBA, whether it's the G League or the NBA itself, because there's a reason why he hasn't caught on yet. I've always been wondering, like, why? Because I like the kid out of college, out of Louisiana Tech. Like, the dude was raw there, and he's been really good in the G League. So I just haven't been able to understand why he hasn't been able to make it to one of these bad teams like Detroit or Toronto now these days, or Brooklyn or something. So now he's coming to a Bulls team that's in rebuild mode, and he could try to, carve out a niche. I'm excited to see if he's able to do it, because this kid has talent. There's no question whether or not he has talent.
Yeah.
Hold on, Jerry Montgomery. He didn't say he's better than Zion, bro. Relax.
So he's more skilled. There's a difference.
That's crazy. You got to dumb stuff down when it comes to certain basketball talks. Everybody
He's
don't
skilled,
talk
not better.
Shout out to Quentin from Let's Talk Bulls. Says, hey fam, life been crazy, but wanted to show love. Can't hate the Bulls being willing to give a young player with upside a chance to make an impact. Completely agree with you, bro. I mean, your life wouldn't be so crazy if you wasn't a gigolo, but that just what comes with the territory, my boy.
You a gigolo, spending lots of dough.
Yeah.
Every time I turn around, I got another show. Let me find out, Quentin.
People hate on Nick Cannon, but that was a banger.
Oh, my
I
mama.
mean, yeah, but then
That was
you
his only
realize that
one.
R. Kelly wrote it, and then you're like,
But when the song came on, I'm sitting here, I was like, I'm stupid. That's an R. Kelly. Oh. It sounds like R.
exactly.
Kelly.
R. Kelly was in the song, I thought.
He was
That's
in the
what I
video,
thought.
and he had on the
Yeah.
Pied Piper mask in the
Yeah.
video. He been telling us the whole time.
Y'all know I wrote this shit, right?
That was when
Anyway.
R. Kelly was in his bag, his writing bag.
Oh yeah, R. Kelly had a 6-year stretch there when that art. Listen, this ain't. We'll get into
I
that.
Curly is wild. What was I Curly?
But yeah, man, it's overall. I like the signing for what it is, and again, just to kind of for anybody who's coming in late, the Bulls signed him to a 1-year deal, but maybe, and I'm not saying for sure. The purpose of that is if you sign a player to a 1-year deal and they make it throughout the full training camp. Even if you take them off that deal and sign them to a 2-way contract, they get like an extra $200,000 on the deal. So this may be a way to just get them a little bit of extra money while they're trying to develop them down there with the Windy City Bulls. So just keep that in mind, y'all. That's all I got to say.
Bulls did this last year with another player, an older gentleman. I forget his name, but they signed him to a.
Oh, it was Jesus. Who was it? Because it was an old center. Yeah, I can't remember what center it was. Yeah, he used to play for the Jazz.
He used to play for the Jazz.
It was Derek Favors.
Derek Favors.
Oh yeah,
it was Derek Favors.
Yeah, he was in the G League at that time. Yeah. Is he still on our team? G League team?
I mean, I think he still is on the G League team. So,
oh wow,
ooh, boy, we finna be physically imposing.
Hey, bro, they finna just be beating people up, bro.
They damn near gonna go undefeated in the G League, bro. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Down there with DJ Stewart too. Yeah.
Hey, listen, it's about to be a physical team, and you know what? But you can see this before we go. You can see how the Bulls are trying to simulate the new play style that we're expecting for the actual Bulls down in the Windy City. That's going to be another team that likes to run, get out in transition, things like that. So we'll see how it happens, man.
I think that's the best thing they did. It's underrated move to have your son down there who's similar, so so it's nothing completely different when you get called up. So I think that's an underrated smart move that we didn't really talk about from that much. So I like the way they did that.
Hey, the big one you tweaking. Sonogo needs to start. Vooch gets traded for Wiseman or Aiden.
You gotta ignore him. TBO just be saying shit. Like, real talk. TBO just be he ain't drunk. The nigga do crack. He admits it. He does crack.
Oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah, you gotta
10:30 for your nose to be burning, bro. So leave that shit alone, because we ain't getting no damn Aiden. We ain't doing.
He be doing the sugar booger faithfully. So
Leave the booger sugar alone.
Booger sugar. I said it. Yeah, it is what it is. All right, y'all. We finna get up out of here. Y'all make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. By the way, we're about 40. Let me get the exact number in here so I can tell y'all, because some of y'all freeloading. We exactly 50 away from 20K. Hit the goddamn subscribe button, y'all.
You didn't land a 20K, bro.
Yeah,
stop playing.
Yeah, not Seaway said it's a cute signing.
Seaway funnies.
Are you talking about from an angle? I think he's talking about from an angle. He's talking about it's a different angle.
That's funny. Hey, listen, Seaway, y'all listen. Because I be seeing people try to come at left at Seaway on Chicago Sky Central. Y'all leave Seaway alone. Y'all leave Seaway alone. Because don't let the pleasant face fool y'all. She a goon. Watch out. Watch out.
Y'all don't know her on TikTok. She be frying motherfuckers.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, Seaway ain't nothing light, bro. Like, y'all better leave Seaway the fuck alone, man.
You saw the stats though. The one game he started, he put up 40 and 15. Kenny Lofton. I mean, also Adama Snogo put up a 20 and 20 game when he started. Like, it just depends on the situation and it happened. But I do like the signing, especially for what it is. And we'll see what comes about it, man. I love you guys, man. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Appreciate you, Lonzo.
Absolutely. Y'all guys can follow the channel at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you guys want to leave a text message and our voicemail, number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls.